Hello, my name is Lilian Okibe. Welcome to my channel. Dryness is something many of us usually face when we first start out our locks, and lately I've been getting so many DMs from you guys complaining that your locks are dry and you really don't know what to do to solve the problem. So I figured I should make a video on that. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about dryness. We're going to be talking about why it is that when you start locks, you're most likely going to have to experience some dryness at the beginning stages of your journey. And we're also going to be talking about what you can do to fix it. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then please keep on watching. So first, let's talk about why it is that many people usually experience dryness in the early stages of their lock journey. So the thing is, many of us start our locks from loose natural hair. So many of us have been like natural for a while, so we built a routine. We probably deep condition our hair like once a week or once every 2 weeks and stuff. We have products that we use, our leave-in conditioners, our moisturizers, our butters, and our oils and things like that. So many of us already have a routine. Now when you start locks, people advise, like it is advised that you stop using many of the products that you normally use for your for your loose natural hair. Many of the products that you used to use before, you can no longer use for your locks because many of those products can cause build-up. Another thing that many people say that you should not do, and many people recommend that you don't do when you start locks, is deep conditioning, especially at the early stages of your lock journey, because number one, using deep conditioners in your locks can cause build-up. Another reason why it's not advisable for you to use deep conditioners is that it can, because most deep conditioners have sleep, right? And what does sleep do? Sleep basically helps to detangle the hair, and the point of locks is that you want your hair to tangle. So using deep conditioner is like, especially at the early stages of your lock journey, like that is actually being counterproductive because you're trying to tangle your hair and then you're using something that is going to detangle it, so that's why it's not advisable for you to use deep conditioners. But many of us have trained our hair to do certain things, like we've trained our hair with that routine of deep conditioning, using creams and oils and butters and a lot of products in our hair. So when we start our locks, because we are basically changing our routine, right? And our hair has been trained to behave a certain way because we've been doing the same thing over and over again for probably years, right? So that sudden change is going to make our hair act out. Like most times, like because there's because there's that sudden change, your hair is going to act out, and that can make your hair actually become dry because like it's experiencing something that is totally different from what it has been used to for a certain period of time. So your hair is probably going to act out, and that's one of the reasons why many of us experience dryness when we first start our locks. This type of dryness, most likely after a while, by the time you retrain your hair with a new routine, after a while your hair will get used to it. And that's why many of us, when we first start out, we experience dryness, but after a while our hair kind of gets used to not like having so much products and like not using the kind of products that we used to use before, and everything just evens out. So another thing that is responsible for the dryness that many of us experience when we first start our locks is that many of us interpret moisturized hair as hair that contains a lot of products in it. So many of us know how our hair feels when it has products in it, and we interpret that as moisturized hair. So because we have cut down on products that we use, our hair feels different because obviously you no longer have as much products in your hair as you used to have when you had loose natural hair. So many of us interpret that as dryness, but that's not necessarily the case. I have a video where I explain basically what moisturized hair means, so I'm going to link that video up in the iCards. I talked extensively and I really broke it down just to help you guys understand what moisturized hair basically means. So if you're interested, go ahead and check that out. But just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and briefly explain what I said in that video. So when it comes to moisturized hair, I feel like I usually use this analogy. Look at your hair as spaghetti, right? So when you bring your spaghetti out of the pack, it is dry, it is hard, right? It is brittle. Any slightest bend or touch, it breaks, right? That is dry spaghetti, and you can liken your dry hair to that. When your hair is dry, it is stiff, it is brittle, it breaks easily, like it doesn't move easily and comfortably as moisturized hair would, right? Now when you take that spaghetti and you put it in your pot, you add your water, right? Your spaghetti is wet, but it's not moisturized because the water is just on the surface of your spaghetti. The spaghetti has not really absorbed any of that water, right? So you can say your spaghetti is wet, but it's not moisturized. And that's why sometimes you can get into the shower and allow water to run down your hair. If you have a lot of products in your hair, it may take a while for your hair to absorb that water. So even though when you first get into the shower, your hair may actually be wet, but it's not actually moisturized because your hair has not absorbed any of the water. Now when you cook your spaghetti for, let's say, 15 minutes, right, the spaghetti absorbs some of that water. And if you bring out like a, like call it like a string of the spaghetti, right, after you have cooked it for like, let's say, 15 minutes, you see that the spaghetti is soft, like it's soft to the touch. It's not as crunchy and as hard, and it's also very flexible. Like you can move it in various directions without it breaking or, you know, anything like that. And that is when you would say that your spaghetti is moisturized in quotes. And that's how you can liken moisturized hair to that, right? Moisturized hair is basically hair that has absorbed water such that it is flexible, it moves, and like it has all the properties that basically we want when it comes to our hair. We want our hair to move, we want our hair, we want our hair to be easy to manage and easy to manipulate without breaking. That is the goal of moisturizing hair, right? So moisturized hair, like I said, is hair that has absorbed water. Now the role that products have to play when it comes to moisturizing hair is most of the products 99.99% of the products we put in our hair doesn't absorb it because the molecules in those products are too large for our hair to absorb. Now even products that contain like water and that contain like elements, right, or let me say ingredients that normally our hair should be able to absorb based on what the scientists say, those products, the elements or like the ingredients in those products are not literally in those products standing alone. They have been meshed together and combined together, and so they are not actually standing alone. So when you put products in your hair really, to be honest, your hair doesn't really absorb most of those products. Like it just remains, it's more like it remains on your hair, and like it's more like on the surface of your hair. So your hair doesn't really absorb. It is water that your hair actually comfortably absorbs. Now the role that products have to play is when you put products on your hair, it helps to keep the water that your hair has absorbed, it helps to keep the water in your hair longer. So you can liken this to, let's say you're cooking plain spaghetti, just boiling your spaghetti that you want to eat with sauce, right? After cooking your spaghetti, if you put it on the table, let's compare that to cooking spaghetti with your sauce. What Nigerians and Ghanaians call jollof spaghetti, right? Jollof spaghetti is basically spaghetti that is cooked with your sauce. So if you cook plain spaghetti, put it on the table, and then you cook your spaghetti with your sauce, that's your jollof spaghetti, put it on the table, and just leave it on the table, right? You would see that most likely the plain spaghetti will get dry, like it will get dry, go back to being dry and crunchy a lot faster than your jollof spaghetti. Why? Because your jollof spaghetti has oils in it, it has sauce in it, and so the water that spaghetti has absorbed, it will take a longer period for that water to evaporate, right, than the plain spaghetti that has nothing on it. And that is basically what products do. Products keep the water in your hair for as long as possible. So get it all. And I feel like many people do not really understand. Many people interpret moisturized hair as hair that has products in it, but that's not necessarily the case, right? Your hair can be moisturized without products. Or let's say many people like to, when people talk about moisture in this sense, they like to call it hydration. So many people say your hair can be hydrated without products and stuff, but basically it is still moisture. Your hair can be moisturized without products. Products do not moisturize hair. Products actually help to keep the moisture in your hair for as long as possible. So now that we have that out of the way, many people interpret moisturized hair as hair that has product, and it's actually understandably so, because most times we wash our hair drinks in water and stuff, and then we apply products on it. So we don't just go like that. Like from all the period that we have had our loose natural hair, we are used to moisturized hair having products in it, but products do not necessarily moisturize hair. So if you look at it this way, you're going to see that most times, like when we switch from putting a lot of products in our hair to putting just a little, now that we have locks, it doesn't mean that our hair is dry. Our hair just feels different because the products that you have on your hair is not as much, and because you don't have as much products on your hair, you're going to have to moisturize your hair more frequently than someone who applies a lot of products in their hair, because obviously your hair is going to dry faster. So that's basically the difference between loose natural hair and locks. With locks, because you're cutting down on your products because you don't want build up, right? It doesn't mean that your hair is not actually moisturized. Your hair is moisturized. Like, you can have your hair to be moisturized, but it's going to dry out a lot faster than loose natural hair that has a lot of products in it. And understanding this will help make your life easier. So now let's move on to what you can do to keep your locks moisturized. And I know that this is what you guys have been waiting for. Now, like I said earlier, because with locks you're not using as much products in your hair as you used to, it means that you're going to have to moisturize your hair more frequently. And like for me, for example, now I spray water in my hair every single day. When I had loose natural hair, I never used to do that. I'll just, you know, deep condition my hair, moisturize my hair on wash day, and probably not moisturize my hair again until the next wash day, or maximum maybe I moisturize my hair once in between, because I used to wash my hair every week. So maybe I'll moisturize my hair midweek and then that is it. Or maybe on rare occasion, like if the weather is very dry, I may moisturize 2 times in between my wash days, and that is it, right? But with locks, because you're not using as much products in your hair, like I said, your hair is going to be drying out a lot faster. So you're going to be needing rather to moisturize your hair a lot faster. Now, like I said, moisturized hair is basically hair that has absorbed water, and so it has the properties of being flexible and things like that, and blah 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 blah. And that's why I like to spray water in my hair every single day. I find that this greatly helps to keep my hair soft and flexible and stuff without issues. Like you guys can see, my hair moves with the wind. Like my hair is actually really, you know, juicy and fluffy, that when I'm outside, when it's like windy, my hair actually moves with the wind. My hair is not stiff at all. And I have greatly reduced how much product I use. Like when I spray water in my hair every single day, I don't apply any other thing. I just spray water and that is it. And this has actually helped my hair to stay moisturized a lot longer. So do not shy away from using water. Now if you live in a place where you don't have access to soft water, then that can be a problem, because hard water will not give you the results that soft water will give you. But I can tell you that water will do your locks so much good. Water will do your locks so much good. I spray water in my hair every single day, and I highly recommend that if you have locks, spray water in your hair every day to do you so much good. And if you don't have access to soft water in your house, you can buy bottled water that is soft, and then you can put it in your spray bottle and spray in your hair every single day. Now another thing you can do apart from spraying water in your hair every day is you can actually go into the shower and let it rain on your hair, right? Because now that I have locks, I no longer wash my hair every single week. I space my wash days like a lot longer. I think now I wash my hair every 2. On very rare occasion, I may wash my hair once a week, but that's not very common, right? So even when I'm not washing my hair like with a shampoo every week, I try as much as I can to make sure that 2 weeks do not go by without me going into the shower and like letting it rain on my hair and like soaking my hair in water. I find that this helps to keep my hair moisturized like as much as possible, right? So because you're not, like I said, because you're not using as much products, you want to make sure that don't be stingy with water. Like water is actually your best friend when it comes to locks. Number one, water will help your locks lock faster, and water will actually help to solve your moisture problems. Don't shy away from putting water in your locks. Like don't shy away from putting water in your locks. I also noticed for me also, sometimes when my scalp feels dry, when my scalp is dry and itchy and stuff, once I get my spray bottle and I just spray water all around my scalp and massages, I feel a lot better. So water will do your locks so much good. If you're someone that you're actually experiencing dryness a lot now, incorporate water into your routine. I hear many people say that water dries out their locks. You should check whether the water you have is hard, right? So normally water should not dry out your locks except the water you have is hard, right? Then another thing is, you may be interpreting your locks as being dry when it's just that it just doesn't have products in it. It doesn't mean that it is dry, it just doesn't have as much product in it, right? So know the difference. After a while, when you develop a routine for caring for your locks, you're going to know the difference between moisture loaded hair and dry hair. There's a difference. What am I saying? Product loaded hair, rather. You're going to know the difference between product loaded hair and dry hair. They are not the same. your hair can be free from products and still be moisturized. So another thing you can do to help your locks stay more moisturized is, especially when you're still in that phase where your hair is not used to the whole idea of, oh, I'm no longer deep conditioning and like stuff like that, what you can do is you can incorporate things like aloe vera, honey and things like that into your lock routine, right? So you basically dilute your aloe vera and your honey or whatever with water, spray it into your hair, usually on wash days, spray it into your hair, cover with a plastic bag, basically how you're going to do a deep conditioner. But the thing about aloe vera and honey is that if you dilute it with water, like, it should not cause build up for your locks, right? Don't just go and slap raw honey on your hair. It will cause build up because it is thick and waxy. But if you dilute it with hot water, right, make sure it is completely dissolved in the water, and then you spray it into your hair, cover with a plastic bag for like 30 minutes, and then you rinse it out. It will actually help with the moisture issues that you're having. I did that, I think, like early on in my journey. Now I don't do that anymore because I've probably gotten lazy and I feel like there's no need for that, so I don't do that anymore. But earlier on, like in the early stage of my journey, I used to do that. I used to, after washing my hair, I'll spray some honey mixed with water into my hair, cover with plastic bag, and leave for a few minutes. Those of you that used to watch my videos back then have probably seen me do that. So you can incorporate that into your hair routine, and that can actually help you. And yeah, another thing you can use is rose water. Although I have never used rose water, but so many people, you know, rave about it. So you can use it as like a spritz for your hair, or you can use it as a spritz as a deep conditioner. So that can also help to keep your locks moisturized. Another thing you can do to keep your locks moisturized is water. I feel like I'm going to say water a lot in this video because so many of the steps I'm going to be saying involve water. So what I'm saying here in this stage now is drinking water, making sure that your body is hydrated from the inside. So make sure that you drink enough water, because when you drink enough water, it tells on your hair. Yeah, I know that your hair is dead, I know, but drinking enough water actually helps to keep your hair looking juicy and looking healthy, because when you drink water, your scalp is going to be like juicy and moisturized and not dry and things like that. And a healthy scalp grows healthy hair. So it's always advisable to make sure that you drink water. Apart from the fact that you're putting water on your hair, also make sure that you drink water as much as possible. Another thing that you can do to make your hair, to keep your locks moisturized, is opting for water washing in between your wash days, right? I've said this also, like I've said this before earlier on, that I do that a lot. So let's say you wash your hair once a month. In between that, you can go ahead and wash your hair with just water. So what I mean is you go into the shower, let it rain on your hair, massage your scalp to lift up like excess build up and like excess oils and stuff that may have accumulated, and allow the water to run down your hair. This helps a lot to keep your locks moisturized. So if you're experiencing dryness, try to incorporate water washing into your hair routine, and you're going to see that it will greatly help in how juicy and moisturized your locks are going to become. I'm not saying that you should wash your hair with only water. I'm not saying that you should ditch washing with a shampoo. Like, washing with a shampoo is important because your hair is hair. It is out there, it gathers dust, it gathers dirt, it gathers microorganisms and things like that. So don't replace water washing for shampoo washing, right? Because you still need to wash your hair with a shampoo. Whether you have locks or loose natural hair, you still need to wash your hair with a shampoo. But in between your wash days is when I recommend that you wash with plain water. Another thing that you can do to help keep your locks moisturized is making sure that you protect your locks at night. Many of us are very careless when we go to bed, when we sleep, and when your hair is constantly rubbing against harsh surfaces like cotton and like wool and things like that suck out moisture, you know, that can make your locks dry. So try, especially when you go to bed at night, try to make sure that the fabric that comes in contact with your hair is like silk or satin or things like that, and that will greatly help to keep your locks moisturized. Now, the last and final thing that you can do to help keep your locks moisturized, and this is kind of like a no-brainer, but I feel like I should say it: avoid greasy hair. I see so many people, because their locks are, they feel that their locks are dry, so they go ahead and layer oil upon oil on their hair, and that makes their hair greasy. Now, when your hair is greasy, it's not going to absorb water as much, because oils are sealants. Oils and butters are sealants, and like they create that kind of barrier, like just like they create a barrier to prevent water from evaporating from your hair, like to reduce how fast water evaporates from your hair. They also create a barrier to reduce how fast water gets absorbed into your hair. So try as much as you can to make sure that your hair is not greasy, because if your hair is greasy, even when you are spraying water into your hair is not going to be absorbing the water, and so your hair is still going to be dry. And also, if your hair is greasy, even if you go into the shower and let it rain on your hair, because your hair has oils on it, it will not be absorbing the water as much, and that will still mean that it's going to be dry. Even though you may have done all these things I'm saying, like I wet my hair, I do this, I do that, but my hair is still dry. That's because the wetting that you are doing is a waste of time, because your hair is greasy. So don't layer oil upon oil upon oil on your locks because you feel like it's dry. Like, that is actually being counterproductive. The only way your hair will be able to absorb moisture again when you have a lot of oils in it is when you go ahead and wash off those oils. So please and please try as much as you can to avoid greasy hair. Like, that is very, very important if you want to keep your locks moisturized. Now, bottom line of this video is water. And I can't say this enough. Like, if you can just increase how often you like wet your hair and things like that, and like, you know, make sure that your hair absorbs water, you will see that your lock journey is going to be so much easier. At first, when you start out, it's going to feel weird because like you're not used to water being like the major thing that you use for your hair, because many of us have been used to using products. But after a while, your hair will get the gist, it will get the memo, and it will be healthier than you have ever imagined, and it will be shiny, it will be bright, it will be vibrant, and things like that. I'm not saying that you should not apply products in your locks. I'm not saying that you should not use your oils. I'm not saying that you should not use whatever products that you like to use, but don't use as much. Try as much as you can to use more water and less products, and you're going to see that your hair is going to flourish and your hair is going to be moisturized. Now, with that, we have come to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, and if you find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you know anybody that will find this video helpful, please go ahead and share with them. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next video.